Wine was finally graduating. A granular party was held at a club to celebrate the whole class graduation. Wine asked Jungkook to be there as they decided to marry each other after her graduation, so they couldn't miss a chance to celebrate it. She was sitting with her friends that suddenly one of her friends named Jessie asked her, "When is your boyfriend coming, huh? We can't wait for the fun to finally begin." Vine smiled and replied, "He just texted me that he's about to reach." She took a sip of the alcohol and moved her body according to the beats of the song, echoing loudly in her ears. She chit chatted with her friends until he texted her, "I'm here outside. Where are you?" Vine told him the exact place they were sitting at. Jungkook smiled at her text, unbuckled his seatbelt, and went inside to find her. He looked at his right, as told by her, and he found her. He smiled looking at her and was about to reach her, but he stopped when he saw Vine laughing with her school friend. He smiled and tried to approach her. "Vine, how are you, Drake? Want to have drinks together?" Jungkook saw Drake offering Vine a hand, and she gladly accepted it. They both went to have drinks. Jungkook approached them from behind and wrapped his arms around her waist and kissed her on the back of her ear. "Jungkook, how are you? You look exquisitely gorgeous." Vine couldn't help but smile. The small gesture from him meant a lot to her. She smiled and turned her face to him after getting out of his grip. "Vine, oh, you finally arrived. Sit here. We were going to have drinks." Vine completely ignored the presence of Jungkook and sat while facing Drake. She asked him, "So, what are your plans after graduation?" He replied, "First, I'm going to enroll in the military. Then I will start my internship." Vine smiled. "Wow, I have always liked guys who have enrolled in the military," she said, smiling, and gave Drake a high five. Jungkook's eyes flickered, showing visible jealousy in them. She poured drinks in the glasses and cheered with Drake before drinking. Drake, "Isn't he going to drink?" Vine, "No, he doesn't drink. You enjoy yourself." She was going to drink, that he held her hand and said while looking at Drake, "You know, I can drink too," he said, and gulped the whole glass of alcohol in one breath and put the glass on the table forcefully. Then he said, "I have enrolled in the military and Navy SEAL training as well," he said, looking in her eyes. Vine's eyes widened. He never drank alcohol in his life, but he did it now because of her. She felt nervous now. "Jungkook, may I talk to you for a moment, if you don't mind?" Vine looked at his eyes, and they were getting red, maybe because of the alcohol. "Drake, sure. It was nice talking to you." He offered his hand for a handshake, but before she could meet his hand, Jungkook accepted Drake's hand and did a handshake. "Likewise," he said, and held Vine's hand to take her outside. They both sat in his car, and before he could say anything, Vine started speaking. "Are you okay? Why did you drink? You told me you don't drink." Jungkook took a few breaths, looking straight ahead. She could see his ears getting red. "Jungkook, what game are you playing? You saw me coming, but you didn't dare to say hi or give me a kiss. And who was that tall guy with you? He said without looking at her. Wine. He is just a school friend. I like him very much. Jungkook looked at her immediately with widened eyes. Wine. No, I mean, I like him very much as a friend. In fact, everyone likes him because of his honest and caring personality. He is my role model. Jungkook fake smiled and nodded. So he is your role model now. Of course he would be. Why would a mafia like me be your role model? She smiled, looking at the cute anger in his eyes and the way his ears turned red. She was about to laugh and tell him that it was all a dare, but she couldn't tease him anymore. But before she could do that, he leaned closer to her, putting one hand on the back of her neck, and said in a deep voice, "You know what I'm carrying in my heart right now? Complexity, darkness, but at the same time a little hope, which wasn't the case before meeting you. You're talking about role model. I will be anything for you, as long as you accept me." Why did his angry tone turn so soft and deep? Why did the look in his eyes turn into nothing from jealousy and anger? All of a sudden, she was having those thoughts that he made her come back to the reality as he kissed her. She felt the complexity and passion in it that she couldn't ignore. She kissed him back, providing the same passion and wildness as him. He ran her hand around her waist while kissing her, and she closed her eyes, feeling his presence and warmth. After a minute, he broke the kiss, and they looked in each other's eyes. Fine. It was nothing but a dare. You know you're the only one in my heart. That role model thing and being enrolled in the military was a joke. So, before she could say further, he put his finger on her lips. Jungkook, as I was coming outside, I heard your friends whisper how it was all a dare. She opened her mouth in surprise and then slapped on his arm. Then why were you playing along, asking me those stupid questions? Jungkook, you can make me jealous while I can't even play along. You sure want to spice things up, right? But let me tell you, Wine, you're playing with fire here. Be careful, as you might get burned, he said, looking in her eyes. Wine smiles playfully as she says, "Don't worry, I won't burn. I like the heat." She giggled, but stopped when he whispered in her ear with his deep voice, "But don't forget that I am the one who controls the flames." She took a deep breath and folded her arms. "We will see about that." He kissed the back of her ear and said, "Then let's see about that in our room. Or should we make this car heated right now?" She put her hands on his chest, giving him the signal that she is about to get wild. He smirked as he looked at her, but she pushed him away from his chest and said, "Not right now. It's the last day I'm meeting my friends. I can't miss it." Jungkook sighed and nodded. "Fine. Just be done with this graduation already. You will be mine after this anyway. Then you can't complain if I cage you in my embrace for 24 hours." She laughed and said, "So bear the night now." They entered the club again and she met her friends. He stayed with her and her friends. They had a fun night. She drank a lot and made him take her pictures. He put all of his effort to make her happy with the pics, but she couldn't be satisfied. Finally, he took a pic of their whole class together. Jungkook. So, I'm just a photographer today. He sighed and looked at her enjoying herself, so he didn't bother complaining. He just stayed there with her, like a bodyguard. After the party was done, and most of her classmates were gone, he decided to take her home too. Jungkook said loudly in her ears because of the music, "Let's go home, Vine. Your friends are gone." But she was too drunk to listen. Vine, yes, let's go home. Saying that, she put her head on the table and slept. He smiled and picked her up in his arms to take her to his car. He looked at her sleeping after a few drinks and said, "Was she the one who said she likes the heat?" He scoffed and started driving.